Hello, everyone. Let's talk about some climate-related design strategies. Earlier, we talked about the different levels of climate that you need to pay attention to as an architect, the microclimate site, um, the climate zone, and the global climate. Your textbook kind of splits the United States and Canada up into 17 climate regions, and that's take a look right here. And then for each one of them gives a set of appropriate design priorities. We're going to take a look at those, and I'm going to simplify those zones or climate regions even further and talk about what might be appropriate for cool climates in the blue here, temperate climates, hot arid climates, and hot humid climates. So here's a list of the 11 different climate-related design strategies that your textbook covers. And they're split into two headings. One is winter, one is summer. So the quote winter design strategies are appropriate for those climates that are heating load dominant. They're cold climates. And so your top priorities are going to be um, those that are most effective during winter. Your cooling dominant climates, cooling load dominant, excuse me, climates, will be more influenced by kind of the bottom half of our list here, the summer design strategies. That's not to say, by the way, that even in a cooling load climate, you might also have some cold winters, or in a heating load climate, when we have very cold winters, you might have a hot summer also. All right, so you can mix and match these. So our first kind of winter strategy is to keep the heat in, keep the cold temperatures out during the winter. All right, as a mom, I'm saying this all the time, shut the door. Right? And this is appropriate, take a look over here, in our cold climates and also in many of our temperate climates that might have more towards the cold winter side. And so we've got a couple of illustrations here. You can use attached buildings to reduce the exposed wall area. You use compact building forms, which include two-story plans to kind of collect that heat, double glazing and low E glazing, and you might need some night insulation, and that's shown by these shutters here. Strategy number 2 is also appropriate in colder climates. You're going to protect from cold winter winds by building in protected areas. Or if there's not a protected area to build in, you could make one by planting or building barriers. And here's an illustration of how to do that. And there's a suggestion that evergreen trees work pretty well for wind barriers. Here's our third and last winter design strategy, and it's to let the winter sun in. Again, this is most appropriate in our cold and on our cooler side of the temperate climates. So in order to let that winter sun in, you're going to orient or turn your building with a long side facing south. And that's what this is trying to show here. And so you're going to open that up. You're not going to plant any trees on the south side. You'll fill that side up with windows. There's an illustration of it here, using some vertical glazing just to pull that sun all the way in. And that is going to let that low winter sun into your building. Here's our first quote summer strategy, and it's to protect from the summer sun. So this strategy is most important in the hot climates, both hot arid and hot humid, but it works well in temperate, and honestly, you can include the cool areas too. They may have a hot summer in that particular area. And so you're going to orient your short side of your building, turn your building so that you minimize that east and west exposure. And you'll shade your windows with overhangs, balconies, and porches. And so here's a couple of examples of those different shading devices. Another pretty much all-purpose summer design strategy is to use natural ventilation for summer cooling. So you're going to provide some large but shaded windows for ventilation. Both high and low will get you the best air circulation through the space. And venting your attic spaces, and here's an illustration of that there's an attic vent, will also get you some great airflow. Our next design strategy, we're at number 6 now, is to allow natural ventilation to cool and remove excess moisture. And this is most appropriate in the hot, humid zones and some of the temperate areas as well. And so you're going to raise the building above the ground level, and you can see that right here. Ventilate under the building, and you especially want any of the moisture producing rooms in your house, which are typically the kitchens, bathrooms, laundry rooms, to have the most ventilation. Switching over to the hot arid or hot and dry part of the country, design strategy number 7 here is to use thermal mass to reduce some day to night temperature swings in the summer. So what you're basically doing is storing up the heat in the daytime and slowly discharging it over the nighttime rather than quickly all the time rather than quickly distributing the heat during the day, which is too much. This next design strategy sounds very simple, but it's extremely important for both the hot arid and the hot humid parts of the country, and it's to keep hot temperatures out during the summer. So you'll want to use compact and well-insulated buildings, and to have your buildings shade each other. Also, shown right here, avoid reflecting the sun into your windows. Okay, you've got this beautiful overhang, but something shiny, maybe it's a reflecting pool of some kind, is going to reflect the sun right into your house where you didn't want it. This next design strategy really only works in the hot and dry part of the country, and that's to use evaporative cooling. Fountains, pools, and plants are kind of the natural way to do evaporative cooling. Courtyards are traditional design that works well for this area. And there's also evaporative coolers as a type of mechanical equipment that works for this climate. In parts of the country that are already too humid, however, you want to follow design strategy number 10 and avoid creating extra humidity during the summer. All right. And so you're going to add ventilation, whether it's natural or mechanical, such as exhaust fans, to remove excess moisture and minimize indoor plants that just add moisture, and minimize pools, fountains, plants, indoor and outdoor. And you want to provide many openings in your exterior walls. Again, you're trying to get some breeze through here and not add any extra water. There's already too much. Our last climate-related design strategy that we want to cover today, yay, is number 11, and it's to open the building to the outdoors since you've got a beautiful climate and temperatures are comfortable. You can use some operable and movable wall panels, and you can create some sheltered outdoor spaces for uses at different times of day and year. So I went back and looked to see where this particular fantastic design strategy was suggested, thinking that it was a temperate design strategy, but your textbook recommends it for Los Angeles here in the hot arid zone and for Miami in the hot humid zone. So I think the takeaway here is just wherever there is beautiful climate to take advantage of it. Okay, everyone, in this video, we just barely skimmed the surface of all the many different climactic design strategies available. And your textbook has tons more information on this. So what I'd like you to do is take a look at your case study, and you're going to investigate the climate of the location of your case study and then how your particular building has chosen to respond to that climate. Thanks, everyone.